thought it could be like an inside joke.
I think I left my phone upstairs, so
That's what you get.
I'm not gonna be able to share that.
You want me to tell Nia to bring it down?
No. It might be down here. Hey Siri.
Are you live right now?
Yeah.
You good. Don't move the computer.
Don't move.
All right, never mind.
I only did the top one. Why is this falling, babe?
You gotta tighten it. No, the big one. The big one.
I can't tighten it anymore. Maybe a little bit.
There you go. Focus. Do not disturb. Play some jams.
Might be in the bathtub.
Oh yeah, he is in the bathtub.
Why can't I hear myself? There we go. There we go. There we go. Nope. Nope. Hello. 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 Okay. Who's on? Struggle is real.
Oh, wait, my Bluetooth ain't on.
Amateur. You're a rookie.
Oh.
Not finally. I'm gonna need y'all to chill on us. Okay. Hey Renee. Hey Shayla. Thank you. Feels good to be home. I don't like them. I'm messing up our stuff. Stop it. Not welcome
They
back.
hate it. Hey, hold on. Oh no, I'm here. That's why.
You got a lot going on, sir. Hey, Sherelle. Sherelle, you went missing at the end of last season, girl. We missed you.
I know. Where have you been? You heard? Did you hear the shout out on the episode?
Jay said, "Play that doo wop shoe bop."
Huh? Jay,
welcome back.
Jay be the only one checking for the before stream song. I got you. Give me a sec.
You
Hold
definitely
on.
be one. What's that song? Put it on the playlist.
Hold on, cause I gotta get reconnected. Look, my phone don't even remember this thing.
Maybe you need to scoot back a little bit. You are completely cut off in the camera.
Well, I know, but I just gotta get this.
No, but I mean like
Completely?
yeah.
What about now? Am I cutting off the neon sign?
No.
Okay.
You're not. But your mic is really high. It's like blocking your face.
Better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Catch your flights. Hold on. We need a backstory. You gonna have to hit the inbox. Hey, charismatic glam. What's good? We chilling. We here, in typical WTNTU fashion, late, fashionably, and struggling with equipment.
Come on, do me right. So wait. This is making me angry.
Russell's struggling.
Connected. Okay.
All to play the Welcome Back Carter song is just.
Why you keep? Don't ruin it. They can't hear it yet.
We waiting. How y'all doing? Jay said, just put the phone on the mic. Hey, see.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
It was worth all of it.
It was. Especially if it ain't gonna be no more remix.
We back! The Lives is back! Did you miss us?
I feel like a DJ.
You know what time it is? R&B! R&B money!
I'm gonna just let it off. This voice is loud in my ear.
And then on your podcast, you don't wait. And the podcast, I know they gon' hate. See, your Tuesdays ain't the same since we've been gone. But I'm back on the live singing this song. You gotta do the grunt pipe. Ooh, you know You know the song?
I'm not doing that.
You don't know that part?
I do, but I'm not doing that.
See, the game ain't the same since we left out. But the name of the game will. This your part right here.
Typical.
Come on. Right here. No? Right. That's all right. We back. It was worth it. Waiting for the Bluetooth.
I cannot.
It don't feel good. We got a neon sign now, y'all.
Fancy. Sherelle says, give my Uncle Russ at the barbecue.
It is. I can own it.
We did. We put that on there. She said her Tuesday mornings ain't been the same without us. She's straight trash. Russ, I'm going to need you to make this a song so I can have it as a morning alarm.
That had to be Jay.
No, that was Sierra.
Come on, see, I got you. Say less.
Hey, Charity. Yes, you did. You called us live. Oh, well, thank you for being here, ma'am. She said, thank y'all for being here. Look, was we going that long, y'all? Because I feel like it wasn't that long. But y'all acting like y'all missed
You don't believe. You don't believe it.
It wasn't that long.
Like just 3 months, you know.
That's typical.
Is it?
Yes.
We
We said it was going to be shorter, but 3 months
we
is
always
about
lie
typical.
to them, and that's why they sick of us.
Lie is a lie.
Y'all, it's only gonna be 1 week, y'all. We gonna be back at the top of August. What?
Like need to shift, but it's okay.
Like more in front of you?
Or just turn this way. Sherelle said it was a cool minute. Charity said my hair is longer. It's been a long while.
Hair is longer though.
Jay said I ain't had a valid excuse to ignore people on Tuesday and Thursday because I tuned them in. Hey, Terica. Jay, this feels like that moment when Steve randomly popped up on Blue's Clues. Okay. No.
Okay, all right. You doing a lot right now.
Sierra says it was about to be a countdown. Y'all deserved it to be that long, but baby, hey Candace. Well, it wasn't just like laziness that kept us away. It was a very productive time off, and
a little bit laziness. I needed some laziness. I need a little bit of it.
Shady said your hair is long. Oh, that's not that.
You feeling yourself?
No, I thought it was something. I thought it was something else. Hey, Marcina.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor. If you haven't shared the live, do us a favor. Go ahead and do that. We good? We good to get started?
Sure, we got
15? Oh, y'all missed us. Okay. As always, you know we
I'm fiddling with stuff, y'all. Excuse us. Still got to get used to this new little giddy up here. What you
I ain't
doing?
gonna do nothing.
Please.
Being a music nerd. They played something else after that. I was like, "Ooh, YouTube DJ going crazy."
Please, thank you.
I need to share this.
Well, hurry up so we can get started.
Don't be pushy. What?
That's what I do best.
See the game ain't the same. See, I'm going to share it. Y'all should be doing the same thing.
I left my phone upstairs. Candace just shared it.
Come on, Candace. Who else gonna vibe with us? What the
my mini feed is actually mini feed, and today is telling me what's going on. Usually I do not. Oh shoot! Did I blink off for y'all too? Charismatic Glam says facts. My morning Tuesday drives weren't the same. Oh, y'all making us feel all special and whatnot. We appreciate y'all so much. Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you just saying you're done, but you're not really done?
I'm done.
Okay.
No, I'm not done. I've shared it, but now I'm gonna view the live from What They Never Told Space. Have the ability to pin comments and things of that nature. Of course, if you want to support the show, $, What They Never Told Us. That. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. I'm ready.
All right. You gotta hit the button.
Oh, wait, yeah, I did. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Brandy.
And welcome to Season 5, Episode 2, live taping of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? I blew it. Should we, do it again? Should we do it again?
It's just us. Sure. Why not? It's just us and 17 other people.
This is the first time they've seen a blooper on the live. I'm so embarrassed. All right. Let's try that again. Which one is the clap? That's how long we've been going. I don't even know the clap button. Found it. All right. You ready? Here we go. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Brandy.
And welcome to Season 5, Episode 2 of the What They Never Told Us podcast. Live taping. The gang is here.
I'm frustrated with you right now.
Leave me alone. I'm hyped. Who do we got with us today?
Man, our people are here. They are back in the building. Let's say hello to Jay,
Woo!
to Charismatic Glam over on YouTube. We got O'Reilly in the building.
Rally.
Sierra. Sierra saying a lot. Renette. Shayla.
What up, Neat? What up, Shay?
Charity. Marcina.
Come on. Everybody
Terica.
in here. Everybody in here.
Candace, Danielle, Chels, we missed you too, boo.
Everybody in here.
All right, if I missed you, please say you missed me so I can shout y'all out. How y'all been doing?
Man, it's so good to be back. It really is.
It's
it really
crazy. Like, I didn't think that I missed it until we got on live. I think this is what I missed.
This is what you missed?
I did. I missed interacting with the peoples. That's the part that I missed.
Okay.
I get to talk to you all the time, so it didn't feel too much different, but
I missed all of
my
it.
people is in the building.
I'm not gonna lie. What up, Vera?
Hey, Vera.
Yeah, we did miss
Yes,
you.
we did. Hey,
What up, Vera?
Lamar. He's another one who abandoned us mid-season.
Don't do that.
Welcome back.
Don't do that. Chill
It's
on my boy.
beef.
Chill on my boy. Okay? He's here today.
Thank you. Welcome.
What up,
We missed
family?
you. We missed your perspective, Lamar.
Facts. Yo, on some real, it ain't a whole lot of testosterone on the chat. So I'll be left alone with my,
You don't be
with my
lucky.
takes.
It be
So
you and Jay trying to.
with it'd be 20 people on here. Okay.
Trying to struggle it out.
Look here. But it is good to see y'all. We missed y'all. Really quick, y'all know how we do. Who has seen the episode? Okay. First episode of season 5. Have y'all listened
Somebody
to it yet?
tag Shanika. Jay, that's your job. Sherelle says the lives take the podcast up a notch. I
Facts.
do believe in that. And then she says not abandoned, but yeah, ran off on the plug twice. He left us.
But this is where the pod started at. Before it was anything, it was just a Facebook Live.
It was
And
very true.
they was
And they
calm.
used to always go up.
Always.
So Candace says she's seen it. Matter of fact, I know she's seen it because I got some commentary. Shayla says she watched it. Sierra watched. Jay just tagged Shanika. Thank you for being on your post. Jay also says facts got to get some more men up in here. I can't type fast enough to stick up for him. And you be on my side most of the time, anyways. You be siding with me.
Seesaw it as well.
I did. I think I said that.
You did?
Yep. Chels said, I listened. Well, we appreciate y'all. Spotify, I need to watch it on YouTube so I can watch the facial expressions.
Thank you for
It
saying
wasn't that bad.
Thank you for saying it, though. But the facial expressions are 56% of the experience of the Women Never Told Us podcast. So if you're getting the audio, it's still going to do the job, but you're getting half the experience. So if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, especially if you listening right now, subscribe to the YouTube.
I feel like the facial expressions are only bad when we disagree. When we agree, it
even when
feels
we say
like,
something. That's
we
not
be all
true.
smiley and stuff until you say something that I don't agree with. Then you get the.
But you know what, though? I think that's what rounds out the podcast is that we don't just come in saying the same thing.
Ever.
Like, we see things
Rarely.
differently, and it gives a well-rounded view. So some might be listening to the podcast, and they be like, Russ, you tripping, bro. And then they might be like, nah, Brandy, I feel you on that, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad. So
Glad that we don't agree.
I'm glad we don't agree, as long as we do it respectfully. Because the one episodes where we don't agree and they get a little tense,
Where we do it disrespectfully.
where it'd be like, when we get the clapping and face get the that ain't where it's at.
The facial expression of the dream, though, top quality content. When he's talking about when I was talking in my sleep.
No, she wasn't. Okay, listen, listen. She wasn't talking in her sleep.
I was talking in my sleep.
She was up, interacting, moving. First of all, she woke me up. She was sitting up. She shook me.
You already told the story.
Woke me up out my sleep. Reached over, grabbed her phone, cut on the light, was staring at the wall. This isn't just talking. She was like navigating the world, making decisions for herself while also being asleep.
Y'all be on Benadryl real bad. You can tell I'm stuffy right now. It be making me do stuff.
Listen here. I am through with it.
Listen, bro, you gotta blame it on the drill. It ain't me.
She's talking about something. You gonna have to lock the door or something. I don't want to go down the street. I don't want to go down. Why is this something we got to worry about?
I told you I was watching Yellow Jackets.
It's some things we shouldn't have to worry about, yo.
Charismatic Glam says she watched it. It was a good one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't do that when it's tax time. What does that mean? Don't do that when it's tax time.
You have to elaborate on that one.
Need some further clarification.
Well, if you did watch the episode, you know that this episode covered the first installment of our vow series, right? Where we kind of unpack the vows and go through them one by one. And this first one that we started on was, I think it touched on a couple of them that kind of center around the same theme, for better or worse, till death do us part. What's the other ones that make you just feel like your life is over?
Hopefully none of them make you feel like your life is over.
I just don't want to hear about death when I'm getting married. Till death do. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's intense.
Just trying to say that it's forever. That's it.
There's another one. For better or worse, till death do you part.
We didn't say them, so I don't know.
I don't know. Unimportant. For better or worse.
And
there
I
we go.
forgot the first time.
Yeah.
They were unimportant that time.
Relax.
It was practice.
Relax. Calm down, okay? But we, both of us being divorcees, I think it was natural for us to kind of start here because of course we have different contexts. That was one of the vows that tend to make you really reflect, make you think back, okay, where did it go wrong? Did you do the traditional vows on your first marriage?
I did.
Me too.
I did. That's the problem.
The problem is in the
Should
vow.
not just do the traditional vows because can't nobody stick
That
to
wasn't the problem. That's not true.
So set up.
So let me ask you this. Let's start with that. Right now in the chat, sound off. The traditional vows, do you think that they are realistic? Do you think that they can be? So what you saying? This ain't, you don't believe this can be?
We didn't do the traditional vows.
Did you not do them because you don't think it's realistic between us?
I didn't do them because I just feel like they're antiquated and.
I ain't saying that because if you cut up, I'm gone.
When you talk about to obey, I ain't never did that good.
So let's start with that. The traditional vows, do you believe that they are realistic? Do you agree with them? Should they be taken out of the wedding ceremony? Shalanda says sickness and health. Yeah, that's another one. Shay says they aren't for me.
But she did say I'm at her wedding.
I mean, we kind of all do. Like, I mean, most people who just don't want to go through the rigmarole of like writing their own vows. It's like, we'll just do it. Like, I don't plan on getting divorced anyway. I think most people go to.
What I want to know is like, where did the traditional vows come from? That's what we should have looked up before.
It's in Deuteronomy. I try to keep a straight face. It's in Deuteronomy.
Listen, I done read that book. It ain't in there.
It's not. It's not.
So that would be my first question. Like, who came up with it? Because it's not in the Bible. Like, pretty much in the Bible, they just took a wife and she ain't had no choice.
It was some preacher.
What the vows was.
Well, there's this preacher handbook. I can't remember. It's a 5-star something, but they give it to you and it shows you how to conduct weddings, kind of like the traditional funeral in the Western way of the world.
How to be a preacher for dummies.
No, not that. It's a like walkthrough of like the things you can say, right? And that's part of the wedding. It includes the traditional vows. So most preachers, when it's their first wedding, they're like, all right, this is easy. Let me just get my 5-star and,
then
Subu.
but I still does not answer my question. Did it come from the 5-star? The person who wrote the 5-star made it
Nah,
up?
it was this one preacher named Harold Cranbrook. And
I'm about to do like the teacher do. Somebody pull out your phones and find out
I was about to say, 'cause
where the traditional vows started.
I was about to get the line. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
like you
it's
tried
not
to
like
tell
it's anything biblical or like it's not like it has to be said. So that's one thing we
Right.
got to address. Like
So
the traditional vows, I'm like, you ain't say the traditional vows. How dare you?
yeah,
There's nowhere that says that that's what you have to vow.
right.
You know,
So whoever made them up, I mean, I think A for effort, right? Like all that stuff sound really good, but how realistic is it? Like, yes, I want you to be with me through sickness and health, whether I have money or whether I don't. And I want you to be with me till death do us part. But the truth is, like, things happen in life. And sometimes sickness and health don't work out, till death do us part don't work out. And then, like, people feel like a failure.
I just feel like the things that they say in should
It's
if
good.
in a real if when I think about what I want my marriage to be, all of them things I want.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
I think right now the problem is human flaw has just tainted our belief in it.
Facts.
So like I don't even want to say it because I don't believe
If
in
you
it.
beat me, I'm out.
But when it's on the other foot, you want that. Like for the person who's not sick, we might not want to commit to be somebody who gets sick. We don't know what life's going to throw at us, but
Absolutely.
it's like, I didn't know when I married you, you was going to be in a car accident and be a paraplegic. Now my whole life has changed. I don't know if I want that. So now in the sickness and health thing, I don't know if I want that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm the person who can't use my legs, I want to be
I
with
need you to be
I want to be with the person who, when they said sickness and health,
You meant that.
They meant that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. You know, I feel the tangent spirit on me, and I'm not going to do it this season. I'm being disciplined. We got a lot of comments, so let's run down a couple of them. Shanika says, it's the obey for me, because please, with some laugh emojis. Sierra Flint says,
doing
not
that.
for me. Danielle Powell, realistic, and I agree with them. I'm with you. Candace says, yes, because we weren't as enlightened back then as we are in 2023. I feel you. Shanika says, I did say them in my wedding note.
She was in there like, D gonna have to run the tape
I mean,
back.
I said it, but
I ain't know.
I don't know how I feel about that, though. You want to take the next one?
I don't know where we are, so
Terica,
no.
Terica says, is your name Tarika or Terica? I keep saying Terica. Anyways, correct me if I'm wrong. But it says, I think they should be kept.
Okay, Sierra says, should be from the heart. Sherelle says, I say them just to not have to write some. Jay says, don't do that when I still don't know what that means. Sierra, we had another Sierra says, nice. So Charity says it is an actual book. They're telling me to leave the Benadryl alone.
Hey, yo, you see what Sherelle says?
No,
This is the one's for me. You know I love you, sir. I'm here, ain't I?
period. I do. Period.
We don't got to go through all that. Like, I'm here, ain't I? That's funny.
Jay says, I have questions on them before I can agree. Maybe that's something. Like, do people sit down and talk about the vows before they actually do it? I mean, we had just the wherewithal, like, we didn't want to do and we wanted to write vows to each other, but we didn't really say why. Why did you choose that?
The traditional?
No, why did you choose to write vows to me instead of doing a traditional? Or is it
Well,
because
I was
said
just
it?
about to say that most of the people who shaky on the vows are the people who went through them and have experienced divorce.
Mm.
The reason why on our first ones we wasn't tripping, because we were like, yeah.
We meant that.
When we look at them, we're
Yeah.
like, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good. We hadn't experienced what marriage can be, how difficult it can
Very
be.
true.
We was just like, oh, that sounds good. Sickness and health. So death do us part. I want you for the rest of my life. Like
Until I didn't.
That was the hope, right?
Mhm.
But now that we've experienced the other side of it, if in my opinion, I think it's just kind of tainted our view on the vow. But if I'm being honest, I don't think it's the vow that's the problem. I think it's
Mhm.
the way we do human relationship.
I
But
can agree with that.
for sure. Marcina says, when you marry the right person, the vows are fine. Heart emoji that. Daniel Powell, did y'all happen to see the clip from Mrs. Jakes on vows? We haven't.
We have
Have you?
not. Mm-mm.
No. I'm
I like her
interested, though.
too.
Yeah.
Kendra said, already looking. Thank you, girl.
That was the Google for the
yeah. Terica says, I've seen them twice.
She said, I've said them twice.
Oh, I've said them twice and didn't stick with them. You already said the realistic. Yes, because, okay. That's a.
Cheryl says, I wonder if there's some old Negro spiritual vows. We should find those and say them, haha.
You shouldn't have read that.
Hey, yo, Rev, it's the first live. I need you to chill. I wonder, were they doing the traditional ones back in the... No, they was just jumping brooms, y'all.
I don't know what they were saying at the actual ceremony. I mean, people was talking, right? They didn't just hold hands and jump a broom.
Nettie, Show Love, Hoppin' John.
Okay.
And they gonna be together.
All right. So Candace says it's from a book called A Book of Common Prayers. I might need to get that. That's the type of stuff that I geek out on. I want to know where that came from. Shayla says, I thought y'all wedding was nothing traditional. I'm glad y'all made it y'all own. Thank you.
Thank you.
Candace says, nonetheless, but I vowed it. I tried to honor it. And she had try in quotation marks. Marcina said, oh, you said that. I said them and I married the right person. So the vows are fine.
Did you see this one from Charity?
What does it say?
It was written by a man who wanted the rule to be, if I make you make it, you'll not leave me even if I'm flawed. Now, why it gotta be like that?
Charity.
Only men mess up in marriages. Like, come on, Charity. We love you. Don't bring that energy here, okay? Now, it probably was by a man, but
she right.
He could have been a good man who really was with his wife till death did him part.
Margie over on YouTube says, OMG, y'all live. Hi. What did I miss? Girl, you got to catch up, got to rewind it. We're going to rewind a bit.
Sierra says, if you entertain the thought of beating me, I'm going to kill you. Flat out.
Jay says, so if someone believes in okay. I don't know if we can answer this, but I'm going to say it. Believes in reincarnation, does that mean I'm married to you in my next life too? Are we going to be in a cycle of us being married, or do I get to pick someone else in my next life when I'm a squirrel?
Jay, we Christian here, bro. We going to heaven. I don't even know what to do with the squirrel stuff, brother. I don't. Moving on, brother. I don't know.
Marcina says, no, only men get caught messing up. Sierra says, yo, my stomach hurt from laughter already.
Sherelle says, Sherelle says it was a slave voice for me. Thank you. She just try to like glaze past that. Hoppin' John and Nettie.
I feel like if y'all know us, you know that the voices is like top tier on my pet peeve list.
Thank y'all for acknowledging that, because that was gold. It was gold.
It wasn't.
Thank you.
It wasn't.
Danielle says, to summarize, she said, younger generations don't want to say them because to make up vows doesn't require true commitment or sacrifice. Again, that's a summary. You know what? I can see that perspective, and I have heard some real weak vows. Oh. It's like, oh, y'all just saying, I'm going to be with you until I decide not to be with you. But you know what, though? I'd rather you come here and say what's real than say something that you don't mean in the face of God. Like if you don't vow to do that, don't vow to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think you really got to know, for the people who go into marriage with a real strong reference for what the spiritual aspect is, and you take real serious, okay, what does God view marriage to be? Like, when that's important to you, you really got to be on some like, I'm not gonna forget what this means to me and you, but I'm also not gonna forget what it means to God.
I feel like it's very interesting that she said it comes from this book called The Book of Common Prayer, which I would assume was written by a Christian, but who knows? I don't want to make that assumption flat off. But the amount of people who say the traditional vows, who don't necessarily believe in God, believe in covenant relationships, believe in the type of love and commitment that he outlines for us, I think that's another reason that lends to, like, we say it just to say it. It sounds good. That's what you're supposed to say at a wedding, but you don't truly believe what you're saying. For me, when I got married, our relationship was not a spiritual one. Like, we weren't Christians. Neither one of us were saved. We weren't going to church.
First marriage.
Yeah, we didn't believe in none of that. We got married in a church because his father was a pastor, and that's just how you did weddings. Like, you just did what you were supposed to do. So I don't necessarily, that's not true. I was surprised when it fell apart. But I don't think the level of belief and faith in what we were saying was there to sustain us through, for better or worse, richer or poor, sickness and health. Like, it just, the belief in those core values and how vital they are to a relationship, that wasn't there. We said it because he was standing there and that's what he told us to repeat after him. There wasn't even a discussion of should we do the traditional vows or not. Like, he was marrying us, so that's what he told us to say, so that's what we said.
I get that. And I think a lot of old school preachers, especially from the traditional church standpoint, you know, that's not a conversation. It's like, no, you're going to say the traditional. You know, I don't recall my first marriage being made to say it, but I do remember getting a big push like, nah, y'all going to say the good ones or y'all going to, and I was like, no, we going to say them ones. Like,
oh, so you had an option though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It wasn't even a discussion. And so when I say made to say it, like, Brandy, you up there, repeat after me. Brandy, you know, I'm just saying stuff because that's what he told me to do. We didn't even discuss those types of things. So, yeah, I think it has to be some faith in what you're saying and what that covenant agreement between you, your partner, and God truly means. You have to have an understanding of that in order to say those words and then abide by them. If
I ever go into premarital counseling and doing marital ceremonies, like on a regular basis, I'm including that in the pre-conversations. Okay, not only do you want to do the traditional vows, let's go over each one of these things that you're vowing.
What do that mean?
And let's talk about what that really means. So if you want to do the traditional, do you understand the weight of what it means when you say in sickness and in health? Right, which is the part I can't wait till we get to that vow because I think that's so necessary to have that conversation.
It is. For sure.
The chat is jumping, so let's try to get to some of these. Cherry says, "I was just trying to be part of the conversation." LOL. I feel you. Get in here. Let your voice be known. Brandy, let him do the voice.
He does them whether I let him or not. It's beyond me. It's above me now.
I'm fighting her so bad to do its display voice because it's not even like. Okay, Sherelle says, "Took me to The Color Purple immediately." Thank you.
That wasn't even a slave movie.
They was like just fresh off the plantation in The Color Purple. They just was fresh off the plantation. And I don't care what you say, Celie was a slave.
Okay.
Mr. was Massa, and I don't care what y'all say. Danielle says, I agree, Russ. I think it would help for people to truly understand vows and covenants as well. So true. So true.
Charity says, yeah. So I heard, until we get tired of each other. Like I said, go take a nap and come back refreshed. Jay says, I need to know. I don't know if I'm in heaven and I hear someone yelling, Jalen, when they make it. Jesus just put me in solitary confinement. That's a whole nother subject. But I don't know if we know each other when we get there, but
that's a whole subject.
Yeah. Sierra says, exactly. Shayla says, I have to say, Brandy Davis, we didn't understand marriage back then, and we just was excited about getting married. Epic fail.
That's a whole separate conversation.
For real.
I recall, and I think I was different in this regard because most of my homies was like, hey, bro, I don't know about that. Like when the bouquet got thrown, everybody was like, ew, not me. Like I really was excited about getting married. I was rare in that regard. I wanted to have what my parents had. I wanted to be married, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, it's ghetto out here. Like, I'm sick of eating ramen noodles. Like,
so like, but this sounds like the reasons why you wanted to be married were not very like deep. They were very surface.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to be married, so I was just saying I can identify with that. I think women get it more because of how just here in this society we groom women to
want to be a bride.
Yeah, it's like you'll rarely hear a woman like, hey, you should be a pilot. You know, it's like, nah, you're gonna want to be with a good man one day. You know what I'm saying? It's grooming you for this desire to be a man's wife, right? But in that excitement, sometimes we get so excited about, like she said, just the idea of being married versus the reality of what it means to be married. Because that ain't for the faint of heart.
What you was about to say the first time?
I was about to say what I said. was about to say what I said. Okay, don't put no words in my mouth. Okay, what did you think I was gonna say, heathen? Okay, this mouth is a vessel for the glory of God.
Amen.
Ain't for the faint of heart.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Charity says, man, the way my brain went on a blank that day, like all I got is the repeat after me's. Because, baby, the nerves were off the charts. That's so true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you don't take the time to really walk through it before you get there, once you get there, it's all a blur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ain't like you're gonna be like, hold up, I don't agree to that.
I have seen a clip of a
But
woman.
it's like being funny. In the
She
Old
did
Bay
not say
part.
it. Yeah, she did not say it. I don't know if she was joking or not. They definitely laughed, but she wasn't like, to obey. She didn't say it at all. She was like, next.
You be able to skip that one.
Yeah, whether she was playing or not, she definitely didn't say it. Candace says exactly what I meant by not being as enlightened as we were now back then, because most people just repeated what they were told to say. So true. Tamala says there should always be a conversation about vows. Like when I got married, there was a part that said obey. I said, oh no.
Is he gonna obey me too? Because we gonna obey each other. Because I don't like that.
Is it
It's
a
just
mutual
like,
obey?
I gotta obey. And welcome, Tamala. This is a name that I have not seen before.
Welcome to the
if it's your
live.
first time, thank you for being here. Martina says, honestly, I think most people get married too young.
I did.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like if you're a man, you probably shouldn't get married to like 45. A woman, maybe like 30, 35.
I don't know. I was so over that phase of my life. That's another thing. I was so over the phase of life I was in. I was like, okay, I'm at a point where I'm ready for the next phase. And that's kids, children. Like, I was more focused on the phase than the, you know what I mean, the actual, what it takes to like facilitate a good, healthy relationship and marriage.
I agree with that too. Like I the person that I was with, we had been dating for some time. We had already actually had a child. So it was like, okay, this is what you do next. This is the natural progression of your relationship. But I think for me, who I was at, I don't even know how old I was when I got married. That's so sad. I was 30 something, I think I was 30.
Yeah.
But who I was back then, compared to who I am now or who I was when we got married at 37, like I'm a totally different person. Like the progression of my life and who I grew up to be, like this person would have never got married back then. Ever. Like I would have been like, I'm good on that. Like, because I just didn't, who I am now, like I understand the weight of it. And the person that I was with, it was more of a hope, a wish, and a dream than actual, like, okay, if tough times come, we're actually going to be able to stick it out. And I'm going to want to stick it out. Like, I can't even just say it was him that ran. Like, when it got real bad, I was like, okay, well, then just leave then, because I ain't got time for this.
I feel you.
I didn't have the wherewithal. I didn't have the life experiences, and I definitely didn't have the knowledge to make that sound decision, even at 30.
I didn't. I got married at 25. And I never forget, it didn't hit me. I still think about this to this day when I think about my first marriage. There was this girl I met from Detroit. Didn't know her well at all. But she had been around. She was visiting the church that I went to. I was preaching there, and I had my little family there. And there was a couple other members that were around the same age as me, but we were married and had kids. And she thought I was so much older than what I was. And she was like, how old are you? I said, 25. She said, 25? Another one of my friends was 25, also married with 2 kids, was like, y'all so old. Y'all old young. Like, y'all don't go out. Like, y'all don't, like, do stuff. And I was like, nah, like, they say, y'all old young. And in my mind, I was like, yo, she's just tripping. Like, you know, I'm just, but she was right. Like, I was forcing myself into a season that I wasn't ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. Mentally,
like, you know, sometimes we desire things that we really don't know the weight of what it is to carry. It's like, I want that, but you don't even know Darius Daniels, right? Like, he teaches this thing called the backside of the blessing, right? Where like everything that you pray for comes with the burden of maintaining and keeping that.
Absolutely.
Man, God bless me with finances, Lord. Like, please bless me to be able to do this, and I want to bless people. That money comes with the burden of family members who want to borrow. It comes with the burden of taxes that you got. Like, you have to learn how to maintain that. Everything, God, Lord bless me with the new car. It needs oil changes, needs this. I was just looking at a Tesla. Found out the tires cost $500. I said, okay, I can afford the note. But if I get a flat, I can't afford the upkeep. And that's such a bigger, analogy for things that we want from God, but have no idea what it takes to maintain. I wanted to be married. Had no idea what it took.
None whatsoever.
That tire got flat and I couldn't afford. I couldn't afford.
Like throw the whole car away.
You know what?
Throw the whole car away.
I
can't do nothing with you now.
Nah, for real. Daniel says, is it an age or is it an understanding of self and commitment? Do you think you can have the understanding needed at a younger age? True. It's not about age. It's about mentality, right? Because I know people who got married at 22. They're still married. And by all appearances and by their admission, they're happy. You know what I mean? So it's not about the number. It's about mentality. It's about wisdom. If you can, it's rare, but it's not impossible. If you can acquire the life experience and wisdom that it takes to step into a marriage and, do that well. If you can do that in the first 22, 25 years of life, hey, God bless you.
Yeah, I think for me specifically, there was so much working against me. Not only did I not have the mental fortitude that it was going to take, I didn't have the faith that it was going to take, like that things would get better, like because I live my life in a state of just like chaos and constant catastrophes. Ooh, I feel like I said a bunch of C words.
Smoked it too, though. Not a stutter or nothing.
So I was used to managing the melee of life, right? Like when it came to tragedies, and I think when I got married, I thought it was going to be a coast of that. I really thought, okay, I have somebody now who's going to come in and take care of me, right? And I think that I expected way too much from a person who was also dealing with his own stuff, also going through life, trying to grow up, trying to be a father, trying to be a husband. And when there was a failure for the expectations on my part, I didn't know how to manage that. I felt like it was a complete letdown of what I wanted from a marriage, not even considering what he wanted. And human side of us, when people fail us or when things don't add up to what we want them to be, our first instinct is to throw the whole thing away. Like, okay, this can't be fixed. And so I didn't have enough stick-to-itiveness because all I'm used to is like, okay, you manage this, then you move on. You manage this, and you move on. There was never like, okay, you just stick this out, right? I didn't have that. My parents weren't married. My grandparents were, but their marriage was like kind of trash, like old people marriage was back then. So it was like nothing that I wanted to model my life after. So if I couldn't get what I wanted with this person, it was like the next option is to leave this and go find somebody else who I could get that with instead of sticking it out and trying to see if it could get better. Glad I didn't, but
for sure,
I just didn't have that. That wasn't in me. That wasn't a part of me.
See, mine is similar but a little different in that, and I kind of talked about this on the episode where I hadn't seen divorce, right? Like I hadn't seen it in my in the house of origin that I grew up in. Right. So for me, it was a real radical and bold decision for me to decide that. But I lived with the guilt of that because in my mind, I'm like, man, I asked to marry her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't ask to marry me. I asked to marry her.
Took her from her people.
Mm-hmm. She in the city. She don't know nobody. Like, and then the moment it got worse, I left, right? And I was haunted by for better or worse. It's like, man, I failed. I'm a failure. Like I didn't stand on, you know what I mean? And I had to leave with some wisdom and resolve, right? And I think I take that into our relationship. Like, I'm not going to do that again. Mm-hmm. Like when we talk about some serious things like infidelity, when we talk about abuse, okay, that's a conversation. But I'm not folding like that again if I'm just unhappy. I'm going to work through it. Mm-hmm. I'm not just going to say I'm not getting what I need, because anyone who's been married for a amount of time say there's going to be seasons where you're not getting what you need. Yeah. Where you have to actively work to communicate a change where, okay, who I was 5 years ago, I'm not that no more. Okay, maybe every little thing from, okay, now I'm at a sexual peak. So, yeah, you're used to me maybe once a week. But now I want some every day. And maybe that's not possible, but I need you to be malleable. Or maybe in a season where like I've been more docile throughout the course of our marriage, but now I want to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not going for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you used to get the last word. This season, you're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like
finger point kind of aggressive.
I'm just walking through examples. You get what I'm trying to say. But no, for real, like there's going to be seasons where you have to be malleable and also understand it's not always going to feel good. It could be 4 years where you're trying to work and get the balance of like, okay, I've changed, we're changing. How do we make this work in this season? In that 4 years, it's not, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody cheated. Ain't nobody been unfaithful. Maybe it's a little tense. Maybe I'm a little unhappy, but I'm not folding.
Right.
I'm still committed. I'm still here. Let's work on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think people got that no more.
Well, one thing that divorce that you touched on that really divorce taught me is that like it's real easy to walk away. Like it don't take
hurt.
too much or nothing.
Yeah.
But the act of walking away is really easy.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that like I don't want to keep doing this. That's why I don't understand people who get no shade to people who have been married multiple times. But like for me, divorce taught me so many lessons about just being married that when I knew I was ready to do it again, there was just some stuff that I just absolutely knew couldn't tolerate. And just things like you said, I was committed to making sure that we stuck it out and that we made it through because I didn't want to go through that season of my life again. I still have a hard time understanding people who get married multiple times and don't take that lesson away. I don't know. I feel like I'm being judgy, but I'm being judgy a little bit.
Be cool on them. Be cool. But because, I mean, you don't know what people, I mean, every situation is different,
Absolutely.
right? And sometimes it's not always in a lesson that you learn. Sometimes it's in the people you choose. Sometimes it's in the, you never know. You never know. Absolutely. So this chat has gotten so long. Let's try to get to the bottom of it.
You do, because the Streamlabs is repeating a lot. So
okay.
You're going to have to take
Terica says, I first got married at 23. You like me, got married young. Sherelle, okay, turning 30 in January, so I'm allowed now. Cool. I'm with you. It's not about the age, it's about the mentality. Sierra, my daddy said that my mother had an issue with obey portion 2, and they were in marriage counseling and got it. I feel like it's really referring to being submissive. I'm fine with that. It's just the mindset of the word obey has me bent. That's honest. Shalana, too many people get married for the wrong reasons. That's real. Jay, if someone is getting married, should there be a session with the person doing the wedding to break down what the vows actually means so that they just aren't saying anything and agreeing to it? Absolutely. I believe so. If I'm being honest, my first marriage, and I think we both talked about this, our first marriages, the premarital counseling was real watered down. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. Now this one here, and I'm so glad it was like this because it let me know that we had
like boot camp.
We did 2 separate premarital counseling sessions with 2 different sets of leaders, and it almost made us not get married.
I think it ain't working if you don't question it.
If you don't take a hard look at the reality,
you need a different marriage counselor.
Because we both were like, are we ready for this?
Yeah.
But that lets me know that we understood the weight of it.
Absolutely.
So we weren't caught off guard when we had this conversation because it's something we knew. This is something we were actively working through. Mm-hmm. So 100%, whatever you're going to say at that altar should be discussed well before you get to that altar.
Charismatic Glam over on YouTube says, I think I agree that the understanding of what the 2 people are entering in is what is missing. It's I do until I don't. Facts.
Charity Cooley says, honestly, I wanted to get married young to have sex, to not go to hell. Getting married later, your core values are different, but sex is still important. That's a whole separate episode. And right now, every church baby that grew up in church right now is like, yes, because that oftentimes, and it's getting better now in modern day ministry, but back in the day, you rarely had conversations from a youth ministry standpoint that were outside of don't have sex outside of marriage or you'll go to hell, right? Your hormones are kicking in. Teenagers, y'all horny. So control your flesh. That's beat over your head. So, in your mind, you're like, okay, this is the answer to that problem. I'm with this person. I got all these feelings. Don't know what to do with them. Ooh, if we get married, we can have sex. It's a reality. And then you get into marriage and you're like, you know what? This ain't enough. And I just found out it ain't that good. So it's like.
So Russell and I, well, it was mostly me, but Russell agreed to it. Had a very, very lofty goal for sex in marriage. Now, both of us, sex in our marriage was an issue for different reasons.
In our first marriage,
sex in our first marriage.
This one, it ain't no issue. We good over here.
So for me, because it played such a huge part in why I was dissatisfied, I thought that sex was a huge part of marriage. So when you're not being fulfilled in that area, it feels like sex is a huge part, right? We get married so we can have sex according to biblical standards. And then when you get it and it's not what you expect, it feels like it's a huge deal in your marriage. But sex is such a minuscule part of marriage. I think now it's great. Don't get me wrong. But even if we had great sex and we didn't have nothing else, our marriage would be trash. But if we have great communication and the sex ain't that great, and I'm not talking about us, I'm just talking about in general, you can still have a great marriage. Sex is a very small part of marriage. Intimacy is a huge part of marriage.
I agree. Can I add in?
Go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying. I think it feels small now because I'm fulfilled in it now. But when I was in the throes of it, in the middle of it, when I didn't have it, it did not feel small.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah. I agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I don't want anyone to get misled who might be going through it right now and listen to be like, y'all tripping because I'm ready to break something because I'm frustrated. It's a big deal when
you're not fulfilled.
And you touched on it just now when you said intimacy, and a lot of people don't know that because a lot of times when people want sex, they're thinking about the physical act, but what they're not seeing is what's woven into that. You want to feel wanted. You want to feel desired. You want to feel closeness. You want to feel like it's an act that you share together and you experience this pleasure from a shared place in spiritual connection. Most people just think of the act and they don't think about all the stuff that goes into that. Mm-hmm. And we touched on this, I don't know what season, but for men it gets even more complex because most of us don't get the emotional development of affection. You know what I mean? You don't get kissed on the same or hugged on the same you grow up. Not all the time, but a lot of guys, I know that's their experience. Mm-hmm. So the only way they know to express emotional or affection is through the lens of sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in a marriage where he's like, we not having sex, most women just hear, you just want to hump on me. Mm-hmm. And what he's really articulating is, you don't want me. You don't value me. You don't want to be close to me. You don't want to emotionally connect with me. Mm-hmm. And most men don't have the language to express that, but that's exactly 100% what's going on. So we're saying, I agree with that, but I want to go into more detail for the person who's into middle of y'all tripping, because that ain't no small thing. It's a big thing. But yeah, I agree with you, babe.
Marcina says, I was 32, he was 41, 17 years later. I feel like we're still in the honeymoon phase, and that's a blessing.
That's a big thing.
Shayla says, agree, Brandy, growth is everything. You didn't know it, but God had rest for you all along. Well, I did know it, but I just ignored it way back when. Candace says, I was 25 when we got married.
Come on.
Shanika says, I got married at 24 to the right person.
Period.
Definitely blessed and grateful for him. We still have date nights, trips with just us. He just gives me butterflies.
Hey, why am my stomach got warm?
Oh.
That was dope.
Terica says, the second time I was 30 when I got married. My first marriage was 6 years and my second 9 years. Now I'm on the fence about doing it again. It's rough out here in these dating streets.
Who said that?
Terica.
Yeah.
Charity says it's too easy to throw it away too and quickly before the ink dry. That's true.
Charity also says, come in and make it worse. My expectations are the death of reality. Oh, that's really a deep statement. That sounds dang near poetic. My expectations are the death of reality. Wow, that's good.
Danielle says seasons in marriage is real. And I don't think there's enough teaching about that. Like, about the fact that your marriage will go through seasons just like your life is going to go through seasons. And like, no, it's not on a yearly basis or a quarterly basis. Like, them things can happen back to back, or it can be years in between time. This is why you have to be so flexible and why you have to be committed, which is ultimately what we were talking about in the episode. It's just like understanding your true level of commitment before you make them vows.
Yeah, because not everything is going to be based on your perfect view or what you desire, right? Some things are going to be the exact opposite of what you expect in a marriage, right? But the Bible tells us this, like, for everything there's a season. There's a season to plant. There's a season to uproot. There's a season to save. There's a season to spin. Like, there's seasons for everything. And if you're not willing to go through the mountains and the valleys, the peaks and the, you know what I mean? You're going to trip. You ain't going to make it. If everything is based on your best case scenario, you ain't got no dog in you. You ain't got no fight in you. And you not getting through no marriage unless you got that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shay said, preach, Russ. Amen. Sierra, see, it's the facial expressions for me. I don't know what happened, but it's always going to be that. Charity says, I'd rather you leave me than to stay and destroy my ability to live without disaster brewing daily. Charity, who are you? Are you like what do you do? What's your profession? Because you just write captions and comments like Tyler Perry in the play.
That's good.
Tyler Perry was a terrible reference. I apologize about that. But
Marcina says the devil is a lie. 4 years to fix what I told you was a problem. Absolutely not. But the truth is, like, when you're in a situation and you feel like it's a problem, but the other person either doesn't realize that it's a problem or doesn't understand how to fix the problem. So I know I'm not going to speak on their scenario, but I'm going to put it in reference into mine. When you're used to living a certain kind of way and you've just gotten comfortable with who you are, and somebody else is now telling you that that is either hurting them or it's wrong or it's detrimental to who they are, but you're not intentionally doing anything. You're just being who you are. Like, if you're not mature enough to handle those type of conversations, it feels like a tear down of the person that you believe that you are. And it also feels like you want to stick to it even more. Like, no, this is just who I am, which is a very, very, very hurtful statement to say to anybody. But, and it makes it hard to change. Like, you have to be, this is why we go back to the level of maturity. Like, you have to be so mature walking into a marriage that your person can tell you something that you absolutely do not want to hear. And it makes you stop and pause instead of firing back and reevaluate who you are. Russell said something to me 2 days ago that still been burned in my mind. In my stomach, I wanted to be like, you don't know nothing. But I had to really sit back and think what he was saying. He told me that I parent our daughter like I'm trying to heal the little girl inside of me. I ain't gonna cry. Not gonna do it. But again, the first thing that I heard was like, nah, you wrong. Like, that's not me. That's not what I'm doing. But because I trust his voice in my life, I had to take a step back and be like, yo, what about the way that I parent her makes it feel like I'm trying to do things or provide things for her that I didn't get? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in doing that, I could intentionally be parenting her in a way that she doesn't need to be parented. And it's hard. I'm telling you, 4 years, I get it. It feels like a long time. But if the person that is telling you this is really, truly worth it, no matter the amount of time, like, you be willing to work through it. And what he said to me, it hurt my pride because I take pride in being a good mom. But I also understand that, like, it's some stuff in me that has to come to the fruition that, look, or the recognition that he don't mean me no harm. So if he's saying this, it's some truth in there somewhere, and I got to dig deep to find out where that is. And it's a process for some people. It don't happen instantly like it did for me on that couch. Some people, it takes them a little bit more time to change their behavior. And if you're committed to that person, you'll stick with it.
That's real. The way my summer job, when you said Russell said something, I was like, what did I say? What did I say?
Yeah, you dropped the bomb on me.
I was sitting here like, oh, Lord, she finna air it out on the pod.
Ooh, the fire in my stomach when he said that. But it's true. I was doing it from a place that I felt was healthy. As a little girl, I needed these things. So now I want to make sure that my daughter has those things. But that might not be what my daughter needs from me. And I need to be more in tune to what she needs from me and what's going to help her grow into a healthy young lady versus what I needed that I didn't get that now I'm trying to replace.
I can't remember what we were watching, but it had something to do with marriage. It might have been a conference we was at. I don't know where I heard it from, but it was something to the effect of the purpose of a spouse and the design, and what they're supposed to do for one another. Like the scripture, iron sharpens iron,
Mm-hmm.
is so prevalent within a marriage, right? The person you're with is going to grow you like nobody else can. Should. Heavy emphasis on should, right? Your spouse should be able to say something to you that can't nobody else say to you, that someone would tell you and it would automatically trigger a defense.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're being honest, it's still going to trigger that. You know what I mean? Like, that's honest, but this woman could say something to me that can't nobody else say to me. And even though it hurts, like, it'll make you step back into yourself and be like, okay, I know she don't want to hurt me. So even if right now I don't see it, let's look from her vantage point and see where that's coming from. And 9 times out of 10, even the stuff that I don't want to hear, it's spot on. I just don't want to hear it.
I definitely left that couch like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
That's good. Terica said,
ahead.
Brandy, it is a lesson, and Russ, it is the people you choose. I definitely have to be wise this time if I get married again. That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
Charity says, I think bottom line is be open and honest about your traumas. Give folks an opportunity to make the choice to make it work or not. Some of these traumas are bombastic after the fact. And now you're locked in. That's so true. Shayla says, youth ministry scared me. I questioned everything and came to the conclusion I was going to hell. Well,
that's real. Marcina says, heal before entering another relationship. Charity says, ma'am, speak. Gwen C. Michelle says, point on, Russ. Stroke me in other areas first. Oh, that's when we was talking about intimacy.
like,
Say,
what? Sherelle says, when the Lord sends me a husband, he will be emotionally connected with regularly. I promise.
Ooh, Charity says, into me I see ... intimacy. You just,
She still ain't tell you what she did.
She didn't. She didn't. She's like, I don't want to tell them.
Danielle says, you're right, Brandy. Yes, introspection. Brandy, you're spot on. Marcina says, so why not just give a suggestion on how to fix it so we can work on it together? I just think some people just aren't open.
That's real. Charity says, catch me falling. I am a wordster and words flow well. I'm emotional. That's who I am, but leaning on the Lord. Yeah, okay. Me and you are kindred souls.
Yes,
okay?
y'all are.
Emotional, and we going to kill some words, right?
Jay says, maturity is the key word. You have to understand that this person you're doing life with has your best interest in mind and isn't out to intentionally probably hurt you. You have to be open to correction and see the bigger picture.
And this is where character is so important, right? Because there are times when they tell you stuff and you can feel that the intent is to hurt you.
Absolutely.
Right? And a lot of times we're trying to decipher, okay, is this one of the things where you're trying to hurt me, or is this one of the things where you're trying to help me? but it happens so frequently where I'm just hurt from your words that now I don't know how to decipher the difference. Everything you say to me automatically goes into the file cabinet of hurt. Even when you come from situations in past relationships, if you don't heal from that, and shout out to Marcina who said heal before you enter another relationship, because when you get so used to words being weaponized, they automatically go into the file cabinet of defense.
Especially when it's something not so lovely, like when it's what is it?
Not so lovely.
Constructive criticism.
Yes. There we go.
I had a brain fart for
I'm with you.
But yeah, when it's constructive criticism and you're not, or you're only used to receiving hurtful, harmful criticism, like you can't receive that. For me, it was just the male voice in general. Like I didn't grow up with my dad. My grandpa only told me all the good stuff about me. So like I wasn't used to hearing like a man come in and be like, hey, yo, you need to do this. Excuse me, sir. I don't need to do nothing but stay black and die. Ain't that what we used to tell him?
Yeah, you was raised by your grandpa for sure.
For sure. Like,
stay black and die.
I ain't got to do nothing because I wasn't used to hearing that voice. And we talked about it before, I think on last season. It was something, still is something that we struggle with because he is very prolific, right? He come in and sound like he's trying to therapize, and sometimes all I hear is, Brandy, you're wrong, and I only see the worst in you. But again, like he said, it's the character. Like, I know that's not him. I know he's not going to intentionally harm me. So even though everything in my past says he trying to tear you down, and that's just not my experience with him. So if my experience with you has told me that you only want to build me up, if you're telling me something that seems hurtful in a second, again, I have to be mature enough to be like, okay, let me go inward and see what part of me is making that sound bad and understand what he's really trying to tell me. And I'll take the part that I can apply to my life, and then everything else, like if I don't feel like it applies after doing some internal work, then I just let it fall.
That's real. That's real. We had some tension with that too early on in our marriage, where like I might say something, I can't remember what it was. I remember the most soft I've ever felt in a relationship in my life. First of all, she never cried. I'm a cry baby. So we had got an argument. I don't even know what it was about, but I had said something to her, and in our trying to work through it, she told me what she perceived my intent was with what I was saying. And I was like, yo, you would think I would, and I said it, I'm saying to come now, but I was like, you like, it's me. You
think I really do?
You think I would? Like, why would you think I would? I would never do that to you, girl. Like, it was so dramatic. But I legitimately, like, you know, everybody wants to be seen. You know what I'm saying? And in a moment when I think back to it, I still be like, dang, you made that about you. She was trying to express how she felt. And now you sitting here crying. She can't even get into what she's saying.
I was so irritated.
Look, I can't help it. Look, I've gotten so much better, right? Come on. Give it up for the kid.
Do not give yourself hand claps.
I stopped it quick. But ultimately, you just got to know, like, okay, the person's character who you're with. And sometimes it takes some time to learn. Like, you had to learn, like, okay,
yeah, for
regardless of what I'm used to, I've learned what he means. I've learned his heart. So even if I don't agree, let me examine the words. You know what I mean?
And I also learned that, like, we are a whole another subject. But I also learned that even if it feels like his intent is negative, I need to voice that so he can clarify. I can't just always assume that he means good or bad. Like, if I need clarification, I need to say, look, I didn't like the way that felt. I need you to tell me what you meant by that. And I didn't used to do that. Before, if he offended me, I'm just offended. Now you got to deal with that.
It was just you know what? I'm going to walk away. Because like,
if not, I'm
how we done talking?
What?
So we just done? We ain't going to finish this?
Period.
I'm bewildered. What happened?
Conversation over. You done pissed me off. I'm done.
Daniel says, I've been the one on the slow end of change, Brandy, so I agree. And I thank God for my husband's patience. That's dope. Candace clapped. Jay says, I seen this post on here that children have their own love language and parents have to learn what it is and love them in their own love language, not ours. That's true.
That's so true.
That's
it's
true.
not just with your spouse.
They have a
book.
love language books that's specifically for parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. Charity says, "Hey, the triggers are triggered more from the ones you love," and
That's true.
You have to be
Can't
here.
nobody hurt me like
You
that.
have to be here every Thursday. It's mandated. Like I'm not Thursday 8:30. If you're not here, I'm finding a way to get your personal cell phone and say, "Where you at? What you doing?"
Stalker. Gwen C. Michelle says, Brandy, truth hurts but heals. That's so
That's
true.
good.
Sierra says, thank you for sharing that, Brandy. I needed to hear that myself. Amen. Johanna says, thanks for being transparent, B. You know, that's what we do here. Shanika says, thank you, Brandy. You are spot on tonight. Oh, y'all trying to make me feel good about myself. And then Jay says, just to put it in the atmosphere, do not have these important conversations over text. That context can be confused as your partner trying to intentionally hurt you, and it's not. Get to know your partner to the best degree so you can decipher it on your own and utilize. What I'm hearing is practice when you're feeling triggered.
The major high consequence conversations, you have to stop beating them by text because the interpretation is left. You don't get any inflection. It's just the words. And now y'all don't even use commas and periods in y'all stuff. So I don't even know how to process this. Okay is okay.
Yeah.
It could be
Automatically.
okay. But I hear this okay. Like there's so many different ways to interpret words. So some things just need to be face to face. That's so good, Jay. For real.
Charity says, I'm an editor, writer, and an intense reader, and a jacket, or maybe a jack.
No, she put in quotes, jacket.
A jacket of all trades, which helps me put my words together. And
Come
Candace
on.
says that part assumption will cause unnecessary issues.
That's real.
Facts.
That's real.
Woo!
There was some of our viewers who reached out to us after listening to the episode and in the middle of listening to the episode, and they kind of brought up some good points. There was a post that there was a lot of feedback on because we kind of got on the subject of cheating when it came to the for better or worse.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in marriage, because that's so prevalent, that's where people land when we start thinking about some of the worst things that can happen, because it happens a lot if we just being honest. But what they brought up, I think this is so good, and it's something I think we'll be able to unpack as we kind of go through this series some more, is that before a lot of times we get to the vow of, being faithful, being loyal, not cheating, there were already a bunch of vows that got broke before that. Honor, cherish, to love, to hold, like those things that we vowed to do. And when we stop doing those things, it opens the door for an atmosphere that the devil manipulates, that he gets in the ears of your spouse and he plays games. And he plays the game so well. He's been doing it since the beginning of time, and he wins a lot.
Send somebody in your path that's doing the exact things,
Nah, for real.
the exact opposite of the things that you're experiencing at home. And it makes it feel like this is the best option. And then if you cheat, that's where the spotlight gets placed. But the spotlight wasn't on all the things that led up to the cheating actually happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like some of the sins that we see in the church. Like this one sin is like the biggest thing. You can't do it. And all the other sins kind of get swept under the rug. Because when you cheat, it's like, oh, you broke our vows. You broke our covenant.
How could you?
How could you ever do that? But okay, ma'am, you've been disrespecting me for 10 years. You've been calling me out my name. You've been turning my kids against me. You ain't touched me right way in 4 years. You know, all these things that like you vowed to do too, that's grouped into that, to love, to cherish, respect, honor.
To have
you
and to
don't,
hold.
Yeah, you don't do none of that. But when I do something,
Yeah.
it's like the worst. So I do agree that we tend to, especially from the women's side, because especially black women, we vicious with our words. That if you a black mama,
So skilled.
it's just like something that come when the baby
Man.
birthed out of you. It's like this thing that's instilled you.
Is it
come
a
with
class
these, like,
that you take?
witty-
or
no, it's just like
DNA?
manna from heaven. It's just as soon as the baby come out, it just
It's
be like
manna from heaven. Daily
like-
manna, like every day.
It's
God
the-
just give
the
you some.
clapback gets serious when
do.
you become a black mom, and it translates into the person that's closest to you. If it's your husband, your baby daddy, or whomever, I can count on 2 hands and all my toes the times that I've caught myself like I'm talking to him just like I talked to one of these kids.
It's real. It's It's a tension that we got to acknowledge and be real with. No one gets a green light on being unfaithful and cheating. If you made that decision, you made that decision. And nothing that happened before that gives you the green light. Like, that needs to be said. If you cheated, you cheated. We're not saying that you have an excuse. Well, it's because I told her I want to blah, 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 and she never did it, so I found somebody who would. Okay. You're still wrong, but there is something to be said with, if you're telling me, and this is an analogy I heard Darius Daniels say, you'll hear them references all the time because that's my dog. But he said, if you telling me I can only shop at one store
for the rest of your life.
For the rest of my life, I can only shop at this store. Why ain't you putting what I like on the shelf?
Period.
Like, you're telling me I can only shop here. I just want some honey buns. You can't get some of that in stock. Like, you know what I mean? Now, that doesn't mean like that's when we get off in the obey part where one person is just whatever you say goes. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about, okay, the compromise of needs, right? You have a need for alone time, space. I have a need for intimacy, and maybe they don't match 100%. But there's a middle that we got to find.
Absolutely.
Because in the deposit and withdrawal of our relationship, if I keep leaving with withdrawals,
and ain't no deposits being made,
and that secretary at my office keeps making deposits, if she
filling the bucket.
Did you eat last night? Oh, I just bought some leftovers. I brought you a plate. Oh, you cold? I noticed you had a hole in your coat. I bought you a coat. Oh, you like this? I know you like red. It's the dress or that keeps happening. I might be strong for a whole year. 365 days. Shut up.
You're going somewhere real important.
365 days, I might be strong. It only takes one day. I could be strong for 365 days. It just takes one day where I am so weak emotionally, where I feel so depleted and in a desperate state that I fall. And that's not an excuse, but it is a reality that I'm in this. I didn't step into this because I'm selfish. I stepped into this because I'm thirsty. I'm in a dry and weary land.
Dry and thirsty land. She came
and she
with
got
a bucket of water.
Water. Cold water. It's the reality. It's not an excuse, but we got to make sure we are loving our people well. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. Pastor Dez is in the chat. She said, boom.
Woo. Come on, Pastor Dez.
Candace said, that tongue is a double-edged sword. And she also said, manna is crazy. So this year, I'm sorry, y'all.
Referencing the sassiness of black moms and equating it to manna from heaven.
I'm just saying because it just come. Like, they didn't even ask for it. It's just like, there you go. It's just something that happens. Anyway, Sierra says, yeah, that's not cool. Jay says, come on now, y'all spitting. Jay says, baby, why won't you just meet me in the middle? That's my song. Gwen C. Michelle says, yes, indeed. You got to make deposits before withdrawals, transactions. Come on now. Desiree says, y'all talking truth, Russell Davis. One day, Charity says, sir, you could be doing that for the one you with and still buy from the wrong store.
Very true.
Shanika says, Rush, you speaking the truth. Candace says, it's a two-way street. Shalana says, come on, Pastor and First Lady, y'all preaching. Pastor Dad says, not an excuse, but reality. Keep it 100. Marcina says, because men don't know how to shut women down like we do. When we're happy at home, the thought of another man offering anything is anything but flattering, and we will hurt feelings to make it stop. Men like to know they still got it.
That's a reality as well. There are, like, I'm speaking about a very specific niche situation. There are some people who are just selfish, not just men, because I noticed in your comment, you did a little gender thing there. Women cheat too. Y'all just better at it. Don't get caught. But no, it's true. There is an element where, like, there's just selfish people who will never be satisfied because They just want what they want. And that's a reality as well. 100%. I agree. Y'all, the hour is now.
Took it down the road and back again.
Back again. It feels so good to be back live. I'm going to do the round of applause, and I'm doing the air horns because I missed y'all.
Martina says, yeah, women cheat more. Charity says women are weak as a creek water, too.
Weak as a what? What did you just say?
Weak as creek water.
Who said that?
Charity. The new Charity.
You just exposed something. Where are you from?
Louisiana.
That's a real
Louisiana.
back
where them levees fell. That's where she from.
Weak as creek water. Huh?
They cracking up. Sierra said creek.
I am cracking up. Y'all, this was so good. I think this conversation from the episode
from
Arkansas. I knew it was somewhere in the country. But I thought the episode was good, but the live with y'all feedback just pushed the conversation. It's always better with y'all. So, yeah, I'm so glad to be back. Anything else you want to say, babe?
No, we got to go put the babies to bed, y'all. They got school tomorrow.
Hope your week is well. Hope you're doing well. We'll be back Tuesday with another episode. For those of you guys who are interested, I think we might just open up the merch store for like a month. So you might just have 1 month to get a brand new What They Never Told Us hoodie. This is nothing I've discussed with Brandy. I literally just said that.
And
just
he don't do nothing with the merch store, just so y'all know.
Brandy hoodies be fire. Tell the truth. Them hoodies be fire.
Don't do nothing with it.
This is really for me because I had a What They Never Told Us hoodie that I loved, wore the mess out of it, got in a car accident, and I was fine. And they went to cutting up my shirt, just cutting it all up in pieces. So if for nothing else, I'm going to open up the store so I can get me a hoodie. And you can get one too. Everything we do here is supported by you guys. We're starting to dabble in ads, not just the ones that we get and accept from our platform, our podcast platform, but also ones that we do ourselves. So if you have a business, if you want to do some advertising, please contact us via DM. You can hit us up and advertise on the What They Never Told Us podcast. 66,000 downloads global, everywhere from Africa, top 100 in several countries, from Jackson, Michigan, all the way to Uganda.
Come on.
I don't know where else. The Grenadines and
a lot of places.
A lot of places.
We worldwide.
So advertising is happening. If you want to support the podcast, once again, like I said, $ What They Never Told Us Cash App.
What They Never Told Us Pod.
Yes, I'm sorry. $ What They Never Told Us Pod on Cash App. You don't have to. We're going to be here every Tuesday and every Friday and every Thursday like we are anyways, but it is appreciated.
All right, we have 2 requests for hoodies that say, we back, man.
We back, man. We live, man.
We got to make that and we got to send one to Kia.
Yeah, that part. That part. I'm here for it.
All right, y'all. We signing off. So always remember that we love